Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. It's Draxyr. Originally, I planned for this to be a full game commentary, but my mom intervened and it sort of turned into a try hard win the game as best I can. And I think that's really cool because you can see the moment where I stop talking and start focusing on the gameplay and how it changes. And I thought, hey, I'll just release the whole thing and leave it be. So here it is. Hope you enjoy. Talking about the different room pages that in Season 8 preseason Riven uses now. Stay away from the precision page. This gives you attack speed, and attack speed on Riven is way subpar. Right now you only want HP or AD. You can take Electrocute for maximum burst in one shot. However, be wary because in lane, this has a 50-second cooldown, as you can see up here, and that's a very long cooldown. Leaves you without a keystone for the majority of the laning phase. So unless you have someone that you're going to all in and not really trade with, this is the one that you're going to want. But otherwise, it's not very good. If you're going to run it, you can go Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection. You can also go Zombie Ward for more vision. And finally, Ravenous Hunter. And then in the second page, you can either go the Precision page and go Coup de Grace with Triumph. Or you can go the Ultimate Hat Transcendence route. As well as the possible Defensive Rune, depending on your lane. And Second Wind if you need it for more defensive items, and then of course Cosmic Insight with stopwatch. Not defensive items, defensive stats. I think we're against GRAGAS here, so we are going to go. This is a really difficult matchup. I think we go Grasp the Undying here. I think it's better than anything else that we could take. Make sure we don't lose lane too hard. We'll go Demolish. We're gonna go take. I'm gonna take the Iron Skin against him because of the Lee Sin. We'll go Second Wind for the poke. And then for the second tree, we can either go the Triumph, the Sudden Impact for the Lethality. I don't think I need the Lethality. I think I'd rather have the CDR. And Ultimate Hat's pretty good. So the reason why I'm taking Iron Skin is GRAGAS often goes Sheen, and Sheen does physical damage. So Iron Skin helps with that as well as just minions, tower in general. Alright, so the Riven versus GRAGAS matchup is actually something I'm very familiar with. I practiced this a few times with my master's friend Vikin, as well as playing it from both sides, both the Riven and GRAGAS side. I think I played like 45 or 50 games of GRAGAS this preseason already. One of my new favorite champions. Let's make sure you guys can see the late game. It's kind of weird talking with silence. Let's see if we can turn on some low-key playlists in the background. Alright, it's good enough. Okay, so let's talk about the matchup. He went Aftershock, which means that we have to stay away from him after his initial CC. We're going to get hit hard by that damage in lane, as well as the resistances he gets. Wow, I'm out of practice of talking in front of the camera. The resistances that he gets from that mastery as well. So we're going to trade with him until we see the Aftershock proc, then back off while his resistances kick in. In this matchup, it revolves around the usage of his E. His E cancels your Q if you're in progress. It just stuns you for about 1.5 seconds, does a boatload of damage, extremely difficult to play around. So we can't really trade with him while that's up. However, if he ever misses it on a minion or just in general, we can take a massive trade on him and there's very little he can do. Another thing that we have to try and attempt is if we stun him while he channels his W, he does not get the W damage. So that's really important to try and do. There's really no point to stun him other than attempting to do that in particular, because you can't stun him out of his E, can't stun him out of his Q. So another thing you can do is actually stun him so he can't proc his Q. So if he Qs on top of you, you can stun him and then E out of the Q. But I think stunning him out of his W is just too good because that's a big part of his damage. After level 6, we have to make sure we don't get ulted under tower. His ult also disrupts us quite heavily, so it's really hard to all-in him. Of course, Lee Sin provides a lot of damage in the jungle with Electrocute and just AD in general, so top lane might very well be a big source of interest this game. However, we do have Xin Zhao, who is extremely strong right now, S tier jungler, and far stronger than Lee Sin in the 1v1, in the 2v2 situation, so if we can pull a 2v2 off, that'd be super good. For us, so early laning, he's gonna most likely start E, could start Q, but his Q is not a huge deal. We do have Grasp. I don't really like going double HP, which I mean going Doran's shield and HP. That leaves us with no AD, so we're gonna go Longsword 3 instead.
Order will conquer.
So we have some sort of AD to do some damage.
To Summoner's Rift.
Let's sort this out. Okay. So the Lee Sin gank timer is important to know. It's around 235 if they rush it as fast as they can. If they mess up for whatever reason, it goes to about 245. But generally 235 is the earliest Lee Sin gank time I've ever seen. Ooh, that Caitlyn. If the Morgana just held her Q, that Caitlyn was dead.
A summoner has reconnected.
Oh, alright.
Chaos begets chaos.
I wonder why he's starting red. Okay, so if he starts red to gank bot lane, I have to play really safe, which means that there's two courses of action I can take. This is Spanish, but I can't understand it mostly because of the last word. Okay, let's see. Yeah, if he starts here and he goes to gank bot side, I have to play extremely safe. And there's two ways I can do that. I can just let the wave sit and let the GRAGAS push it in. Okay, I actually misplayed this. I should have been prepping my Q to get my 3 passive stacks. But I'm actually just going to give him that leash anyway, so it's not too bad. I want to get to lane. Alright, so I can push this in as hard as I can and have it reset towards me. That's risky if he acts in any way, shape, or form against me. So I'm gonna just last hit as well as I can. Okay, he missed Z. Say my grass proc is up. I can hit him with that soon. But he has his E up soon. So that's the aftershock damage there. It's quite large. I haven't actually taken Grasp on Riven before. I wanted to see how much damage Grasp did, and it did around almost like 50, which is kind of crazy. So I took that trade as like a way to gain information, and you can do that in. I did that with a rune that I'm not familiar with, but if you're in a matchup that you're not familiar with, you can actually just take a trade to see how it turns out as like an experiment. Alright. Looks like he's pretty experienced in GRAGAS. That E is going to be the biggest source of damage. Lee Sin might show up soon. I'm going to chug a pot just in case they go for the cheeky dive. Want to be full HP for that if it happens. So I'm giving up a lot of CS now, but this wave is going to crash and then I can farm it under tower. So I'm not too concerned. Lee Sin is mid. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, I just sit here and wait now. Trying to get to try not to get poked out. Whew, speaking, it's hard. I'm gonna miss cannon. It's alright. Like I said, I don't want to take too much damage. Concede the early lane. Okay, that was actually a mistake because I traded into a massive minion right there.
I am the light that splits the night.
And this actually goes for a lot of tank matchups right now as well in general. Ornn, Malphite, the way I played it, the way I am playing it, they usually have one ability that screws you over. Okay, I shielded his E there, which is a large part of his damage, so I didn't take too much.
Freedom is conquered.
Oh, you just ruined my recording. Holy. I guess I'll just voice over it. What? You can't leave it in there. It's a full game commentary. You can't leave it in there.
First blood.
Order is truth. dawn comes for everyone. I will cut the darkness from your rejoice in the light. The darkness has fled. I will rise above the shadows. Darkness falls by my blade. They hide from order. Chaos does not seek friends. He seeks annihilation. He's his own master, but also his slave. You will be lost in the darkness. The light.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
The light reveals truth. The demon seeks to break you. Harmony is the truth that binds us.
An ally has been slain.
Bring them to me. Drive them into the light. This world balances on the edge of my blade. The dawn will triumph.
An enemy has been slain.
Confidence crumbles. Together. not have me. Night conceals weakness. Light's perfection guides me. Never regret that which must be done. Light is coming.
An enemy has been slain.
True strength arises from conviction.
An enemy has been slain.
Dawn is coming. Find peace in the light. I will light the sky with my blade.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Killing spree.
Nothing more. The universe waits for absolution. From true conviction, radiance. I will release you from fear. Rejoice in the light.
Shut down. Rampage. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Battle is my destiny. Be still while I redeem you. Only within the
Your
light.
turret has been destroyed. Shut down. Your turret has been destroyed. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Centers kneel before the light.
Enemy double kill.
You cannot fracture the light. Chaos is
Your team has destroyed a turret.
darkness fades away, I will expose its weakness.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Will redeem us all. The sound and glow will fade to nothing. Rejoice in the light. I do not regret that which must be done.
Has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Despair is the color of darkness. Your chaos will. Chaos offers false freedom. Eliminate chaos, and nothing more.
An ally has been slain.
Find conviction or fall. The blade does not forgive. Light conceals weakness. He is his own master, but also his slave. The shining blade is my sword. Together, we will humble the universe.
What the frick?
Darkness fades away. I will expose its weakness.
An enemy has been slain.
My blade, my crown. Give in to harmony.